Okay. We'll continue on. Look at Proverbs 2 and 16. So wisdom, which is proper application of knowledge, will give you understanding. Verse 16 of Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, to deliver thee from the strange woman. She might be trying to tempt you, bringing that temptation in, even from the stranger which flatters with her words. Yeah, I like you, baby. Or some kind of way, she's trying to get at you, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her power, the laws of the Most High. This is what it says, for her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. You hear that? You go in her house, she never forgot the covenant that we have with the Most High. The schoolmaster, the laws that the Most High gave us to bring us to a MASHAYACH, who did not sin, who did not break the Most High's laws, to learn all this knowledge and understanding. How many people, how many women have went off, then forsaken the guide of her youth? Youth is when you first come in. You like a youth. You like a child. That's why he calls us the children of Israel. And forget the covenant, the agreement that the Most High made with who? Abraham. The covenant was with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob to the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 18, you would say, for her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. Next thing you know, you're on your way to be cast into the lake of fire. That's what he's saying. You know what he said? None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. They can't take hold of this truth, which is the paths of life. And some of he's talking about those that have learned what it is you should know about concerning the truth. Some of you might have went to this path and you feel like you're not worthy. He's not talking about you, because he told us just for consolement of your spirit in Acts the 17th chapter and the 30th verse. He said, in the times of this ignorance, you didn't know. That's why there's hope for you. In the time of this ignorance of you not knowing and being in darkness, gross ignorance, the Most High winked at. He winked at you. But now, once you hear my voice, once you have an opportunity to learn what's right from wrong, commanded all men everywhere to repent, to ask for forgiveness of the things you've done wrong, and change. That's how you be born again. Renewed in the spirit of your mind, the way you think. Because he have appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness according to the law, such commandments of the Most High. Y'all better hear what he's saying. Don't let anybody tell you ain't under the law. Righteousness. He gonna judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he have ordained. That's a MASHAYACH coming in his angelic power. He told me he meet him as a man. Isaiah 47:3. Whom he have ordained, whereof he have given assurance unto all men, in that he have raised them from the dead. So that's why you got to be on it, to know all these means of how he's guiding us to protect us, or they have you fall into the hands of the wicked. Now, look what he say to the wicked. Because he coming. Maybe say you're going to judge them in righteousness. Oh, yeah. Go to 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 37, I believe it is. 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, verse 13 and verse 37. And this my son, this is in the Old Testament, y'all. I showed you the Apocrypha in the original King James 611 Bible. He said, and this my son, who was a MASHAYACH, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, fallen into the fire, and shall lay before them, their evil thoughts. This judgment, he gonna lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. Remember, he put this rainbow in the sky to remind himself he ain't flooding the earth. He bringing fire, man. He said he gonna lay before them the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor. By what? By the law that you pork chop eating preachers saying that we not under. By the law which is like unto fire. We know that fire is the word of the Most High. He gonna be saying the word of the Most High as he burning them up. He gonna put their thoughts, just what you thinking now. He gonna reveal it to you, because it's all being recorded. The book's gonna be open. All that's being recorded. You already know, and he gonna bring it to you as it is written. That's why it behooves anyone to hear my voice to change before it's too late. Look. Proverbs 2:20. That thou mayest walk in the way of good men. Only way you good is you keep the commandments of the Most High. That's what's good. The Most High is good and his commandments are good. His laws are good. And keep the paths of the righteous. So you keep the path of the righteous, the way of the righteous, then you're going to be good. I'm good. You're going to be able to say you're good then. For the upright shall dwell in the land. You hear that? So the wicked, he already told you we're going to do the wicked. He's going to bring their thoughts. All y'all that thinking wickedly, and you think this not right, you're going to find out. Maybe sooner than later. If what I'm saying and what I'm bringing forth is right or wrong. I stand wholeheartedly on what I'm reading, what I'm bringing forth. You're going to find out if you right or wrong. In the way you feel, the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act. But the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. You hear that? Perfect by doing what? Keeping what he said to do. His rules and regulations, point blank. But the wicked, all you just say you can do whatever you want to do, you following the way of this world, you at war with the Most High, you the enemy of the Most High, but you wicked, but the wicked shall be cut off from the earth. He just told you all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. But the wicked and all you other nations that's wicked shall be cut off from the earth. And the transgressors, those that break the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, shall be rooted out of it. You're going to be rooted out of the earth. It makes sense because, look, go to Isaiah 60th chapter. Just so you know. Let's go to the kingdom. Isaiah 60 and 21. He said, thy people also shall be all righteous. You hear that? The ones gonna make it, gonna be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the branch of the Most High's planting. The work of my hands, that I may be glorified. You hear that? That he may be glorified. Because he's going to be all in all. That's what this is all about. So don't concentrate so much on yourself and not the Most High. Remember, he just told us his name was jealous. A lot of y'all, you sow it to yourself. You praying to yourself. And don't even realize it. So you got to be able to fight off all these temptations. Adultery and sexual desires that's against the Most High. Look at Proverbs, the 5th chapter. Let's start at verse 1. Since we're dealing with temptation. My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thine ear to my understanding. Look at Proverbs 4 and 7. Wisdom, which is the proper application of knowledge, is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, get the proper application of knowledge, how to apply knowledge in your life. And with all that getting, get understanding. Some people have wisdom, but they don't have understanding. Saying all that getting, get understanding. That's why he said in Proverbs 5 and 1, my son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman that's tempting you drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth sweetest honey, right? And her mouth is smoother than oil. Speaking of smooth words, she is a veteran in dropping her words as a honeycomb, sweet. And her mouth is smoother than oil. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. This word is like sharper than a two-edged sword. But he's telling you, the lips of a strange woman, especially these women that are outside of our nation, and our women that are operating just like a Gentile. We got to be aware of that now. Because our women then took on the ways of the Gentiles. In the way they think, the way they are. They're not submissive. They're not as they should be. You know, this woman lived and ruined a lot of our women. They became a strange woman. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. You know, it tells you how the word is as a two-edged sword. Like I say, it's everybody gonna go. Let's go there. Hebrews 4 and 12. Her end is as a two-edged sword. So, just like he said, he's gonna be killing those that come up against him. The Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force. When you read 2 Ezra 13th chapter, by their thoughts and how they have broken the laws, such commandments of the Most High. You see that strange woman? Her death was like a two-edged sword. What's a two-edged sword? Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of the Most High that we going over all the time is quick. It's quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. that he said he's going to kill that strange woman that's not operating in the truth. But the word of the Most High is sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the divine asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joint, of the joints and marrow. See, between your bones, in the middle of your bones, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the mind, of the heart. That's the way you think. Going back to Proverbs, the 5th chapter, verse 4. But her end, or this strange woman, that her words are like honey and smoother than oil. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. We just said that word of the Most High is as a two-edged sword. And that's how she can be put to death, by what the word says of the Most High. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Let you know. That's why I said about following her. Verse 16 of Proverbs 2, we just went over this. To deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger that flattereth with her words, that's as a honeycomb, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her power. The law, such commandments of the Most High, that she was taught when she first came into this truth, as a young child, or a young mind, learning. For her house inclineth unto what? Death. And her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither they take they hold of the paths of life. That's why I say you got to be aware. Why the Most High say we ain't supposed to be intermarrying and so forth. We ain't supposed to be, and even if you're dealing with a woman of misunderstanding of this truth, she can lead you astray too, because she like a strange woman, a Gentile. Look at what it say, going back to Proverbs 5. Who would know better than Solomon? He had 1,000 women that it says he had. Going back to Proverbs 5th chapter, verse 5, it says her feet go down to death. The path she's walking is death. Her steps take hold on hell. Her steps take hold on hell. That's why I say you ain't coming back. Lest thou should have pondered the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou cannot know them. She real slick. Letting you know. She conquering up this evil. Her ways are movable, that thou cannot know them, changing up this way and that way. Every way, bringing that temptation on you. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. And also you look at the way of the wicked. Esau, in this world, besides just a woman, is a strange woman. Oh, you think I don't know what I'm talking about? Look, Esau, woman too. Look at her. All praise the Most High. We return right to it. Isaiah 47 chapter. Verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin, daughter. That's not a son. A daughter is a woman of Babylon, which represent the Edomites. Verse 7 say, and thou said, this is what they said, I shall be a lady. How long? Forever. So, twofold, we got to look at it that way too. Verse 7. of Proverbs, the 5th chapter. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. Most I say we ain't supposed to be dealing with these strange women. The strange doctrines and the lies and the philosophies and the religions that they have set up to have you go to hell with them. This strange woman and the way of this world. Verse 8 says, remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. You what he said? Remove your way far from her. When you recognize wickedness, say get away from it. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh near the door of her house. Lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. Man, then you know when they bite you, you think everything is cool, and they turn on you. Look at all the brothers that went into these strange women and end up jacked up. Because the Most High said we ain't supposed to be doing that. Look at Baruch, the 4th chapter, and verse 3. The Most High said, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. You hear that? Most High ain't with no integration. Why the Most High gave every man, no matter what nationality is, his woman. Proverbs 5 and 9. Lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. You would have said the cruel. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth. How many brothers came up and they go to a strange woman? Generally the Edomite. And like I say, lest strangers be filled with thy wealth. You give your wealth right back to them. Strangers. They're the strangers. That's going to be cleaving to us. Most High will. I can tell you in Isaiah 14 and 1. Most High will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them. They shall cleave to the house of Jacob. They're going to say, yeah, we know the Most High with you. After they know Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, nobody to protect them. They can't call 911. Ain't no more of that. That's what you read about when you read 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. It's going to be a remnant of all the nations that he going to place in their place, be working in the kingdom. So you deal with it. You say, let strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger. Everything you have went into the house of a stranger, not with your people of Israel. And I'll mourn at the last. They gonna get half. You mourn at the last. When thy flesh and thy body are consumed. You hear that? You can't get out of it. Your flesh and your body gonna be consumed. He said, verse 9, lest thou give thine honor unto others. He just said, don't give your what's profitable to us to a strange nation. Lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. That don't sound like somebody's going to love you. But understand, Ezekiel 35 and 5 tell you how they feel. Ezekiel 35 and 5. And all the other nations follow just what the superpower of earth is putting down. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. But you think it's a perpetual love? It say, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword when? In the time of their calamity. In the time that their iniquity had an end. See that? The time our iniquity have an end, they're going to be killing us. Verse 11. You gave all your labors to a stranger, and thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed, and say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof. How have I hated the instructions that the Most High has given us, making you a fool. Let's go back to Proverbs 27 and say what? The fear of the Most High, to be afraid, to be scared of the Most High, is the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. You a fool. I call you a fool. And so you can't tell somebody something, you know they're a fool. They can't take the instruction, you know they're a fool. Proverbs 5 and 12, and say, how have I hated instruction? You got to think about this. Because a lot of you out there are so prideful, you cannot be instructed. You don't want nobody to tell you what to do. But then you say, okay, well, tell me the right way. Give me the Bible. I'm going to give it back to you. And say, show me the right way. And they can't. There's something wrong with that picture. They're a fool. You're going to say, verse 12, and say, how have I hated instruction? And my heart despised reproof. So your mind just despises reproof. That the Most High say, who he loveth, he chastens. He reproving you. And the Most High uses his hand, which is men sometimes, to tell you, instructing you the right way. But you hate it. Because you're a fool. And have not obeyed the voice of my teachers. Hear that? Can't get no clearer than that. You've been called, and you're not obeying the voice of your teachers. Nor incline my ear to them that instructed me. He's screaming at you. He said, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. Hear that? He said he was almost in all evil. That's what David said. Hey, let me show you what he said. So I ain't got to say what he said. Let me show you what he said. He said, all evil in the midst of us, congregation of Israelites. It's cold-blooded, ain't it? That's why his father, King David, said in Romans 11 and 9, he said, and David said, let the table be made a snare. Let whatever they bring in for nourishment be a trap. And a trap. And a stumbling block. And a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened. Wicked Israelites. What did he say? What did Solomon say? In Proverbs 5 and 14, he said, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. He said he was almost in all evil. That means everybody in the congregation was evil. He said, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. Wicked Israelites. Why his father David, King David said what? Proverbs 11 and 5. And David said, this King David, this King Solomon's father, let the table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense to them. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. wicked Israelites. That's why it says, Proverbs 5:15, drink waters out of thine own cistern. Drink waters out of your own cistern, out of what this Bible is really talking about, with understanding. And running waters out of thine own well. You see, that's why when you read Ephesians 5:26, what does it say? Ephesians 5:26. Concerning this water, it says that he might sanctify and cleanse it. How? With the washing of water by the word. So once you understand righteousness according to the words of the Most High, you drinking from that, the word of the Most High, understanding what it's talking about, not what these religions are bringing forth. Or, once again, you might not heard me ask before, but I'm asking over and over again, what religion that you belong to, answer, is keeping the moral laws, the civil laws, the dietary laws, and the ceremonial laws that the Most High wrote with his finger, the work of the Most High that you say we ain't got to deal with, we ain't under. So are you keeping them? Because you think in your wildest dream you can do whatever you want to do and eat whatever you want to eat and have the morals that's contrary to the Most High, following the civil laws of the land that's contrary to the Most High, that they passing laws to say the things that the Most High says is abomination, but you accept it more so than the laws of the Most High, his ceremonial laws. See, these my feasts, keep these for me. These are days that you rejoice, have a good time, party, and have a good time with me. Not these pagan days of Halloween coming up, right? Y'all gonna be celebrating Halloween. I see it celebrating the church. I'm like, whoa. And this year they're gonna be celebrating the church again. Y'all out of y'all mind. Christmas. MASHAYACH was born on Christmas. Easter. He died on the 6th day and rose on the 1st day. I know I can count. I remember my 2-year daughter could count from the day y'all say he died and call it good. A good day. I'm not saying the days of the week, they all named after gods, after the Greek idols and so forth. So it's the 6th day. And you can count the 7th day, that's the last day of the week, and you got the 1st day. So from the 6th day, 7th day, the 1st day is only 2 days. You can't even count 2 days. Say he died on that day. And he rose on the 3rd day, or did he rise on the 2nd day? That's what I'm saying. People are really, really, really in gross darkness, man. You can't count from the 6th day of the week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the calendar. All those days of the week are named after God. Supposed to say, don't let the name of other gods come out of their mouth, because his name is jealous. We heard what he said. Don't let the names of other gods come out of their mouth. So you can't count 3 days. 3 days. From the 6th day, you got the 7th day makes it 1 day. The 1st day of the week, you go to your calendar, you'll see. They got to set up the 1st day of the week. It's the 2nd day. After y'all say he died. On that good day. You listen to what they're saying. What they calling it. A good day when they killed YAHAWASHI. The Romans, so-called white man, so-called Italian Caucasians, put him to death. They called it a good day. Y'all can't count from the 6th day, what they call good. Y'all know what day y'all be saying it is. That's the 6th day of the week. If you don't know what I'm saying, look at the calendar and count from that first day all the way to the 6th day. So you got the 6th day, you got the 7th day. That's the day we in now. Then you got tomorrow, the first day. That's 2 days. You can't count from the day y'all say he died for 3 days. That would be the 2nd day of the week. But y'all say he rose on the first day of the week, which is only 2 days later. See how off that is? I mean, I can go on and on and on. You know. Why the Catholic Church put that cross on their forehead and they operate in Lent for 40 days? Why? Drink waters out of thine own cistern and running waters out of thine own well. According to thus said the Most High, our story and not their story and his story. Because you're going to find that it's fabricated lies and it's paganism. The 40 days of Lent represent each year that Tammuz, who was Nimrod, who had a baby by his mama, Semiramis, lived. That's what you represent. Paganism. That's why you got the honey glazed ham. I see our people lined up to get their honey glazed ham. Because a wild boar killed him, Tammuz. That's why y'all eating that honey glazed ham in revenge of the wild boar that killed Tammuz, Nimrod's mama, son. Nimrod's wife, son. I don't know how you can call it. Nimrod had a son by his mother named Tammuz. That's your trinity right there. Nimrod, Semiramis, and their son Tammuz. Because it's only the Most High, the MASHAYACH, and the angels. And now he's an angel. Top angel, he made him as the son of the Most High. You got the Most High, MASHAYACH, you got the angels that deal with us. That's why he said, drink waters out of thine own cistern. You got to come back to this truth. You got to come back to the understanding of our culture, our way of life, regardless of how anybody want to bring it. We have a culture. That's what we're reading about in this Bible. See, let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of waters in the streets. Rivers of this truth, like running water in the streets. That our people can gravitate and come back to who they are as the 12 tribes of Israel. Let them be only thine own. You know what he said? Let them be only thine own. That's why he just told us, don't give what's profitable for us to a stranger. That's going to in the end say, as for the way of the Most High, as for the way of MASHAYACH, we have not known it. But you think you're going to teach them the way of the Most High, they're going to be able to get this when the Most High already said, when salvation is coming in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, to the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 7 says, they're going to say we worried ourselves the way of wickedness and destruction. We've gone through deserts where there lay no way. As for the way of the Most High and the MASHAYACH, we have not known it. That's why I say, let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. Okay, I mean, what are you telling you? He say, let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. I tell you, y'all can go against the Most High's word if you want to. I know what I've seen in my day of time, and reading the scriptures to get more edification of understanding. It's real. As real could be. But see, because you don't know the scriptures, a lot of you want to follow your own way. But the scripture tells you in Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, in the Apocrypha, it says, Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, it says, never trust thine enemy. Now, last I read, it said in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt from captivity, slavery, and bondage again another time with ships. We're the only people that came into captivity, slavery, and bondage in ships. By the way where I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there, when you go on these ships, you shall be sold unto your enemies. For bondmen, slave men, and bondwomen, slave women. And no man shall buy you. Meaning no man going to redeem us from the condition that we put ourselves in by not following the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's why it says, Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, it take a long time for iron to rust, so is his wickedness. See, what are you saying? Proverbs 5:17, let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. Some of you don't believe it. But he told us in Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. It might take a long time for iron to rust, but you're going to realize that he's still the wicked. And he's still dealing with wickedness. I just told you what he's going to say in the end. In Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 7, you can read for yourself. It says, we rid ourselves of the way of wickedness and destruction. Though he humble himself, verse 11, and go crouching, yet take good heed, and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. His wickedness has not altogether been wiped away. Set him not by thee. So don't let him be by you. Lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Either let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. He let you know. That's why it says, Proverbs 5 and 17, let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. As an Israelite, let her be as the loving hen and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. And why would thou, O my son, be ravished with a strange woman? You know what he said? Why would you, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? He got a right to say that, y'all. King Solomon have a right to say that. Y'all gotta understand. Anybody knew, he knew. Look. Go to, he know. He said no. 1 Kings 11, chapter. Let's start at verse 1, son of King Solomon. But King Solomon loved many strange women. Do you think he can talk about them? Yeah, he can talk about them, because he loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, Egyptian, women of Moab, Moabites, Chinese, Ammonites, Japanese, Edomites, so-called white people, white women, Zidonians and Hittites, most so-called Africans, other nations concerning which the Most High said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them. That's against the law. Neither shall they come in unto you, but surely they will turn away your heart, your mind, after their gods, after their idols. Solomon clave unto these in love. He loved these strange women. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. These strange women turned away his heart, turned away his mind. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, other idols. And his heart, his mind was not perfect with the Most High, his power, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after, these are idols, Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Amorites. The word of the Most High is true. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Most High, and went not fully after the Most High, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Shamash. Even saying the names of these dang on gods. The abomination of Moab, the Chinese, and the hill that is before Jerusalem. And for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. You see, these strange women are these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. And you Israelite women that are just like them and not coming back to the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, how you should be as an Israelite woman. You're a strange woman too. What's the difference? If you believe in all these different things that they believe in, what's the difference? Then did Solomon build a high place for Shamash, the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon, the Japanese. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, you see? These strange wives are these women that are outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Most High was angry with Solomon, because his heart, his mind was turned from the Most High power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him. Most High came to him twice, appeared to him twice, and commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, other idols. But he kept not that which the Most High commanded. That's why the Most High split the kingdom from us. Well, you had the northern tribes and the southern tribes. But he did it under Solomon's son Rehoboam. Yeah. So you see, he knew. He knew about some women. I think he could write about it. 1,000 that he had. He went off. That's why we got to really look at this and use the wisdom of our ancestors to not make the same mistakes over and over again. We can't do that. Well, we got to change. Let's look at Deuteronomy 7th chapter. And look at Deuteronomy 7 and verse 21. Let's start at verse 21. It says, "Thou shalt not be affrighted at them, these nations that the Most High destroyed to give us the land of Canaan. For the Most High thy power is among you, a mighty power and terrible. And the Most High thy power will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Say, I'm going to get rid of them little by little. Thou mayest not consume them at once. He said, don't kill them all at once. He said, little by little, we're going to get rid of them. Lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. Say, hey, lest the beasts, you kill them all at one time, the beasts going to increase upon us. But the Most High thy power shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. Listen, and he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. Listen what it say. The graven images of their gods, their idols, shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them. This is what he's saying. The silver and gold that's on our enemies, leave it alone, he said. Nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, lest you be trapped therein. For it is an abomination to the Most High thy power. That's deep. He said, these nations, silver and gold, is an abomination unto the Most High. 7 nations that were mightier than us, that the Most High destroyed to give us the land of Canaan. He said, their silver and gold is an abomination to the Most High, thy power, our power. Who is the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob name changed to be Israel, become the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. He said, neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, like y'all bring that Christmas tree up into your house. That's an idol. I'll tell you that in Jeremiah 10:1-5. And you got to bow down to it to put the presents under the tree. And you got to bow down to it to take the presents from under the tree. It's an idol. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. You hear that? Lest you be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, hate it, for it is a cursed thing. You ever hear what he's saying? Israel don't want to follow that. Y'all want to follow some other way. And that's your own way. Generally,